Hello and welcome to video number 4 of our 5-paragraph essay video series. Today our learning target is I can add explanations and connections to my 5-paragraph essay outline. Remember yesterday we did the majority of our outline but we left out some things. Today we're almost going to complete it entirely with our explanations and our connections. You know already what this slide means, step by step. Step by step means every day we give you a little bit of this task building up to this great 5-paragraph essay. And if you do not do the assignment every single day, you are going to be falling behind until a point where it's going to be overwhelming. I noticed today, if you look at our Google Classroom, Mr. Millette, he has office hours he invites you to. So if you're having struggles, you can visit office hours and get more one-on-one support. I have students who send me comments in the assignments, they send emails. That is the kind of thing you should be doing if you're feeling yourself sliding backwards. All right. So what do we mean when we say explanation and connection? Remember yesterday we talked about a strong paragraph. So a strong paragraph is about one main idea and it has 4 things. It has a topic sentence that supports the essay's thesis statement. So it's kind of like the thesis statement of your paragraph. You have the supporting evidence, that's your detail that backs up your topic sentence. We did both of those things in our outline yesterday, but we did not complete the next 2, which is an explanation of what your supporting evidence means and a connection of this information to your thesis statement. These are the 4 ingredients of a very strong paragraph. An essay is a journey you're leading us through. I want you to imagine yourselves as tour guides. We live in New York City, so you might have seen this sometimes in the city in Manhattan. I used to live in Granada, Spain. That's where I lived before I came to work at Mott Hall. And there are tour guides all the time down in the city, and they all carry these flags, follow me. And without that tour guide, those poor innocent tourists would be completely lost. So imagine as you're writing your essay that you are a tour guide. You cannot assume that we know everything that you do. Don't assume we know how to get to where you're going. We have to follow you. You have to take us there step by step. And as a tour guide, it's your job to explain the monuments you're showing us. So the different sites, the different buildings, the statues, it's your job to explain those monuments and then to connect it to why they're historically significant or important, right? So you're a tour guide, you're taking us through the city, you're showing us these monuments, you're explaining what the monument is, and then you're connecting it to the bigger picture of why do we care, why are we coming to see this monument? It's your job as an essay writer to make connections for us. Do not take your reader's understanding for granted. I think the biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes I see when kids are writing their essays, is that they are assuming, since they're writing to the teacher, that the teacher knows everything that they know. When you're writing, you can't do that. You can't leave any room for somebody to misunderstand what you're trying to say. You have to set it up so you are taking us every step of the way so that we come to the same exact conclusion that you want us to come to. So you just take them very patiently, step by step. Now, what does this look like on our outline? So remember we had this example of a thesis statement. Cheerleading should be considered a sport because it requires athletic skills, physical training, and promotes team competition. So if we're looking at how this looks on our outline, let's focus just on that first one, athletic skills. And we remember our thesis statement sets up our entire essay. So if you notice, I have 3 reasons here. Each one of those reasons coincides to one of the body paragraphs. So I have athletic skills. All right, this is what our outline looks like. It has body paragraph, our topic sentence, the supporting evidence, and then an explanation and a connection for the 2. So this paragraph, body paragraph 1, is going to be about athletic skills. My topic sentence. One reason that cheerleading should be considered a sport is because it requires athletic skill. So that's referring back to my overarching thesis statement. And then yesterday we went and put are pieces of supporting evidence. There's 2 pieces of supporting evidence minimum per paragraph. This first one, complicated jumps and movements that push physical limits of the body. So that evidence backs up my idea that cheerleading should be considered a sport because it requires athletic skill. Another detail that backs up my claim that it requires athletic skill is a quote from a head cheer coach, Tim Williams. Many of those who participate in this sport, cheerleading, spend as much, if not more, time working out than the team players they often cheer for. So this guy's saying that sometimes the cheerleaders work out even more than the people playing the sports they're cheering for. So I have 2 strong pieces of evidence that support my claim or my topic sentence that cheerleading requires athletic skill. Now, just like you are a tour guide, you can't just come and show me the monument and then walk away. You have to explain it and connect it. So in this first one, complicated jumps and movements that push physical limits of the body. My explanation? To do well in this activity, cheerleading, a person must be physically fit and have lots of endurance. That's what that supporting evidence means. So when I'm explaining, I'm just telling you what that evidence means. It's not enough that I just give you the evidence. I have to tell you why I've given it to you. That's the connection. This is like any other sport, like diving or track and field. So I'm making the connection to my topic sentence or even to my thesis statement. Let's look at the example for the next one. So I have this quote from Tim Williams about how much cheerleaders are working out. I'm explaining it by saying cheerleaders must stay in great physical condition to perform well and safely. So I'm explaining what that head coach said. And then I'm going to connect it to this idea that cheerleading should be considered a sport. This is no different than any other sport like wrestling or soccer. Now I have my first body paragraph all worked out. Then comes the skill of going through and putting this all together so it flows and sounds like one thought after another thought without sounding like a list of things. But this is what we're doing. We have the explanation and the connection. So we've given the evidence, but you have to say, what does that evidence mean and why do we care about it? At this point in the game, these are the things you should have already done. You should have read the example essay and identified what made it successful. You should have read the prompt for your essay, the essay we are all doing, and thought of an answer. You should have chosen 3 poems that you're going to be referring to in your essay. You should have answered the prompt for each separate poem, and that's in this on May 6th. The homework was called 3 Poem Prompt Answers, or the classwork. Next, you should have combined all of your answers into one thesis statement, and that document was given on the 8th of May. It's called Thesis Statement. And you should have completed the outline sections thesis, topic sentence, and supporting evidence. That's what we did yesterday. So what is our next step? We are going to fill in the explanation and the connection sections of our 5-paragraph essay outline. And let's do that together. So if you remember, I had this outline, and obviously it already has things filled in. I am using an outline that is a different prompt than the one you are doing. I'm doing that because I don't want to give you the answers. So what I did is I took the thesis statement paper, right, that we should have already done. I copied and I pasted it into my thesis, and then I got rid of it. Then I have my 3 poems that I'm going to be working with and the topic sentences. I copied them, I pasted them into the topic sentence section of each of the body paragraphs, and then I got rid of it. And then, the most important document ever, the graphic organizer. If you have not done this, please take some time to do it. All you have to do is go to classwork, and it was March 25th, I think it was. You have to go to view more. Yep, March 25th, graphic organizer. It's right here. So if you haven't done it, click it and start it. If you need to see the 6 poems it's referring to, if you go to streaming, I have 6 poems. I made a post on April 21st with the 6 poems that you can read and fill out that graphic organizer. So here's your graphic organizer. I pulled from these details and I included them in these sections supporting evidence, right? So what I haven't done is this part of explaining and connecting. So let's look at this first body paragraph that I'm working with. Remember, my prompt had to do with how Silverstein used juxtaposition in his poetry. Your prompt is how does he think we should live our lives? Two different prompts, same content. My topic sentence. Shel Silverstein uses juxtaposition by describing what each place is like. He does this because he wants to show us how much better where the sidewalk ends is from this place, so we can see how imagination can make the world a better place. That's my topic sentence. That's my idea for this paragraph. I have two pieces of evidence. The first one, Silverstein describes this place as having black smoke, dark streets, and pits. Later, he asks us to leave and go to where the sidewalk ends. There, they have peppermint wind and soft white grass. I have to explain what that means. And then I have to give you the so what. So in my explanation, I am going to just kind of summarize. So Silverstein describes two places that are completely different, right? So I'm kind of taking you through. I'm not assuming you know everything. You're a tourist that doesn't speak the language, and I'm rushing through these small, tiny streets explaining things. So Silverstein describes two places that are completely different. One is depressing and ugly, and the other is inviting and beautiful. So I've taken this supporting evidence and I've just explained it, maybe put it into even more into my own words. The main point of this supporting evidence was that he was describing two places. One of them's gross, one of them's not. And then I'm going to make my connection. What's my connection? I have to bring it back to that topic sentence. So I can say maybe by juxtaposing these two places, he is showing readers how much more attractive, where the sidewalk ends is than this place, which makes us want to follow him to a better place. Right? So I'm kind of bringing it back to this juxtaposition idea, because my prompt is how does he use juxtaposition and why does he use juxtaposition? So when I make my connection, I'm bringing it right back. So I give my evidence, I explain what the evidence means, and then I connect it to kind of like the so what moment. And now here's my second piece of evidence. And this time I am giving a direct quote because I love the way that Silverstein said it. So if you want to, put quotes in if it works for you. And obviously this is just my outline, so I'm not telling you all the information of where I got it from, but when I'm writing everything out, I'm going to make sure to mention where they can find this quote in case the reader wants to go and investigate some more. And we'll go where the chalk white arrows go for the children they mark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. I have to explain why I think that's a piece of evidence that's backing up my topic sentence that he uses juxtaposition by describing different places, and he does it to show how much better a place of imagination can be. So first I have to explain it. I can say here, Silverstein reveals that it is the children who know how to get to this beautiful place. Right, that's an explanation of that evidence. And now the so what. So what? So what that children know how to get there? So what? Now I have to make a connection back to what I was saying. How about this? So this is my connection. I'm taking the evidence and I'm taking my explanation and I'm saying, you know, from what we know about children, we can imagine that Silverstein suggests we act more like them in terms of imagining the possibilities of our world, perhaps doing our part to make it more magical. Right? So that's why. Why is he using juxtaposition? He's using it because he wants us to imagine how we can be more like children. So you see what I've done? I've gone in, I've explained the evidence I already had from the day before. I explained what the evidence means, and I'm saying, so what? I'm telling you why that evidence and my explanation matter in my essay. Little by little, you see how much we've written now? We've written so much. And as we fill out this entire outline, it's going to be easy going when you put it all together to make a beautiful 5-paragraph essay. If you have any questions, you know to reach out, just like I mentioned before. You're going to do great. You have the rest of the period to complete this assignment. Good luck.